Good evening, everybody, and you are so very, very welcome to day 2 of our fantastic masterclass, which is called the Vibration and Attraction Masterclass. And we are helping people all over the screen tonight, but all over Ireland and all over the world to get into the right vibration so they can attract the results that they want to see happening in their life. So let's hear from everybody who's here with us tonight. Please comment along and check in and let us know who's with us. We had a really good evening yesterday evening in spite of the whole global Facebook shutdown. We had a fantastic evening. It was really, really good to see some nice comments today, and thank you for everybody who's been, taking little pictures and sharing it on Instagram, talking about their enjoyment of our day 1 of the masterclass. So we have a wonderful day in store for you today. We have a great evening in store, or a great week in store for you, with some absolutely fantastic contributors who are going to be helping us all of the time, coming along, talking about their own journey with this material, what it's done to transform their lives. And I think there was a wonderful response as well to my colleague, Catherine, who was here with us last night. Everybody really enjoyed her story and enjoyed listening to how her life has changed. As I say, Catherine would be somebody would call like an ideal client at the Academy. She was really successful in her own right, but always wanted to get to that next level, knew there was something deep inside of her that she really wanted to change. And when you want something like that, you'll find it. You'll find someone who can just help you to get there, or you'll attract something. You'll see a sign somewhere, or you'll find a book in a library with some amazing message for you. When we switch our brain onto how can I make this work, you'll find a way. But if we instantly go, I can't do that, you'll surely find all the reasons to validate that first thought as well. So it was really nice to hear Catherine's story this evening. I'm going to be welcoming somebody who I met coming up on 2 years ago now. It was January. I did a seminar in the Rose Hotel in Tralee, and our guest who's joining us on Thursday night was also there. They both came to the seminar, ended up going ahead to become clients of our Academy, and went on to just do wonderful things, changing their lives and going up, level up every single year. And they can't go backwards now. They're just going to keep doing it. So I'm really excited to see where their journey takes them. So we've got Shauna with us this evening, and we've got Susan with us on Thursday. Shauna has come up with an amazing service, I would call it a business, but it's more like a movement. It's called Style Search. And if you have ever used Skyscanner to book flights, then imagine doing that for fashion. So your sizes, your shapes, your style, everything that you like. This is her brainchild. She's come and she passed that on. We're going to be talking to a gentleman tomorrow evening called Brian Dalmasso, and Brian's going to be talking about the perpetual transformation of energy and how thoughts and ideas are like a form of energy in a sense, and we just transmute them onto other ideas and substances and businesses and homes and lots of different things, inventions, relationships. It's amazing what we can do when we turn our thoughts into things, when we get into the right vibration, and then we attract everything that we need to get us there. So you cannot get into the right vibration unless you are really acutely aware of what the concept of the self-image is. And we touched on this last night. I would love to hear, how is everybody getting on with their new I am affirmations? Let's hear about that in the chat here, please. And also, let's have a little bit of feedback from people who have done that today. How have you felt? Did you find it awkward? Let's be honest, if you did. Did you find it exciting? Did you find it motivational? Did you find yourself kind of talking yourself out of doing it, perhaps? So let me know. And then I would like to say also, well done to everybody who submitted their homework. We've got some great submissions, and also to everybody who decided to take up our offer and join our 6 a.m. club to really see what goes on and how people just like you, who are where you are now, maybe 1 or 2 months ago, 3 months ago, kind of said, yeah, I think this guy's for me. I think this masterclass is for me. I think this community is for me. And they decided to go ahead and move into our full-time academy. You got to see that this morning. You got to venture in at 6 a.m. Fair play to you if that was a quantum leap, getting up that early and studying. But you probably felt a wonderful energy of people just changing their lives on that call. I've done the last couple of Fridays, and I'm doing this Friday as well. And it's lovely being part of it. You're just doing your own study, but everybody else is really moving forward with their life. So well done to those of you who attended. And for those of you who put in your homework yesterday, well, yesterday was our self-image day. And when we're changing our self-image, we often think about the style on the outside. We often think about how we look, our skin, our hair, our cars, our clothing, our homes, our landscaping in the front of the home. We're always thinking about that as a representation of our self-image. But the self-image is the inside and the outside shift, and the the creation of ourselves from the inside out, and that's our self-image. But we decided we would work with somebody when it came to talking about our outer image, and we've worked with Shauna quite a few times, who'll be with us tonight. But today we decided to change it up a little bit, and there was a lady who went through a mastermind program with the wonderful Megan, and her name is Breda, and Breda has a company as well which helps people with their personal style. So we have partnered with her for this masterclass, and one of you who submitted your homework last night is going to be doing a 2-hour session with her where she's going to be going over all of your style. And that lucky lady who won that prize is, drum roll please, Suzanne Mannix. So congratulations. We'll be in touch with you. One of our success advisors, or Ernestine and Laura, or somebody who is working with us is going to be in contact with you, and they're going to connect you with your prize, and you're going to have a lovely 2-hour session with a really wonderful lady, and you're going to go over all your style and your colors and all the different things, and it's going to be fantastic and transformational for you. And well done. You deserve it. You won the prize because you did the homework. So that's how you guys can also win a prize, and that's what we're going to be looking at. So congratulations. Yeah, people are saying woohoo, that's brilliant. Now, today we're talking about getting off the roller coaster, and the best roller coaster that I've been on is in Ireland. It was a few weeks ago. My wife and I went to Tato Park, and we went on the Cuchulainn. It's an incredibly scary roller coaster. So in order to get to that roller coaster, you need to have a pass for Tato Park. So Declan O'Donoghue Consulting and the Academy have put up a prize for tonight, which is a family pass for 5 people. I don't know if it's 3 adults and 2 children, or if it's just 5 passes, but we've got 5 passes anyway, which is really good. If it's just you and you win it on your own and you might not have a family, then bring 4 of your friends along. But what we're going to be doing is getting you to get off the roller coaster in our masterclass, and one of you who puts forward your homework tonight is going to win that that pass for 5 people. Now, it's really incredible. We went there this year ourselves. There's a zoo in there. There's Fawcett Circus. Like, there's so much going on. It's more than just like a what would you call it, like a fairground attraction or whatever. It's a really amazing thing. I wasn't all that excited about it, but I'm going back. Like, I really am. I even said it to the team, we should do a training there, because there's a lot of places that you can really go through the terror barrier and you're torqued upside down and maybe 40 feet in the air and spun around at a high speed. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. But anyway, we're going to be getting off the real roller coaster that so many of us are. I think we have a predominantly adult attendance here. And as an adult, you're supposed to have it all figured out, aren't you? You're supposed to know everything about how it all works. But you know what? We've got ups and downs and thrills and spills, and lots of difficult things going on in our life all of the time, regardless of where you are. Rich and successful people, we saw last week, for those of you who like golf, we saw a lot of people at the end of the Ryder Cup really crying, really emotional. That's a professional sport. They're paid millions and millions and millions. They're very, very privileged and very lucky, and they've deserved it. They've worked hard to get there. But they have problems at the top as well. There's politicians have problems, and people living at home and working from home. There's always dramas and there's always difficulties happening, regardless of the situation that you're in, your age, your relationship status. Life is always throwing curveballs at us. It really is. And it can feel like a roller coaster if you are like a cork that's on the ocean of life. You're just bobbing around. But people who go through our material, people who work with us on a full-time basis, they've aligned themselves with a group of people who understand that life will always throw difficulties at you. But we learn like we've never learned before. We never learned it from parents. We've rarely learned it from schools or universities. Maybe the odd book has helped us along the way. But to really reprogram how you think is one of the greatest gifts. It's the greatest gift I've given myself and my children and my wife and anybody that I get to touch the lives of, is by helping myself to sort my stuff out from sorting my thinking out. I still have ups and downs. I make mistakes. I have regrets. I feel guilt sometimes. I have times that I just want to get under the duvet like everybody else. But predominantly, I see it for what it is. I see it for just a noting, just a mindset adjustment that I need to go through in order to just let that difficult moment pass and on we go. But those little difficult moments could have snowballed into days and weeks in the past, okay? So the roller coaster of life is something that you can get off, and not have to have those ups and downs and thrills and spills. There'll be the odd person and the odd situation that can get under your skin from time to time. But most of all, you'll look at bills and you'll say, that's okay, I'll figure it out. You'll look at an opportunity coming up and you'll say, that's okay, I'll work through it. I'll make it happen. You become really confident, really steadfast, really honest with yourself. You still feel the fear, but you do it anyway. And we'll be touching on that some more on Thursday and Friday. But let's talk about how one gets off the roller coaster. But let's start off, because if you remember this whole masterclass, what we're doing at the very beginning is we're giving you a clear indication of how people get new results in a short space of time, and not just tiny results, like really big results that they've wanted for a long time. Well, they learn what the self-image is and they readjust it. Then they learn what the self-image is and they readjust it. And then what they also do is they learn what a paradigm is, and they program their life with a brand new paradigm, a brand new set of results, a brand new set of behaviors, a brand new set of habits. And it's just, I don't know any other way to live, and I'm never going back. I can tell you that for nothing. Now, I hope everything's working out okay. It's showing me that we're going from about 60 attendees to 5 to 60. So I hope everybody's able to keep going with us. As far as I'm aware, everything is working beautifully on my end from the stream, the quality of the stream and everything. But I'm being told by StreamYard that there's 5 of you, there's 60 of you, there's 80, there's 5. So I'm just going to keep going and presume that everything is going well. If it isn't, just let me know in the comment section. Okay, so you should have your workbook by now, and you should have worked through day 1, which was all about the self-image. And today we're going to work through the life as on a roller coaster. So the first heading says here, I am fully aware that today. You'll see that I'm fully aware that today. So let's write down together. I'm fully aware that today there was things I wanted to do. There was things that I wanted to do. Okay, so I'm fully aware that there was things that I wanted to do. I knew how to do them. There was things, I'm aware today that there was things I wanted to do. I knew how to do them. I could have done them, but I did not do them. Okay, so for example, I could have done some yoga. I could have drank more water instead of coffee. I could have got some bills paid. I could have run some extra errands. There was things I could have done. I wanted to do. I knew how to do them, but I didn't do them. Also, I'm aware today that there was things that I did that I didn't want to do. I know I shouldn't have done them. I know how not to do them, but I did them anyway. So that could be bad dietary choices. It could be an argument you might have had with somebody. It could have been being late for something, or it could have been, there's ways of avoiding these things, but they keep happening. Now, why does that happen? Why do we know people who have got incredible qualifications and they never can seem to find their dream job or hold down a job? They're always moving around from place to place. They're never happy. And then why do we see people who maybe have had a primary school education and they've gone on to earn millions and millions of euros and have a very successful life? The reason behind this is a very, very easy to do adjustment, but a very, very misunderstood adjustment. And it's something that's rarely taught in the public domain. And it's called paradigm shifting. Okay, and I want to share something with you that's I'm a visual type of a learner. And I just did a little bit of a doodle here today for you guys. Let me just get that ready now. What about all things together? Hang on now, you gotta move this fella. And share my screen. One moment, I'll be with you now. So I want to be minimized to good at the moment. Let me just see what I can do. Come on, yes, excellent. I knew I'd get there. It's funny, I hear people talking about this thing called Mercury retrograde, and it's, her stuff doesn't work very well. I'm sure we always attract people who are more aware of that than I am, but it's funny how technology is just being a bit silly at the moment. And apparently that's a symptom of it. Something with the planetary alignments and all that. I don't know, but for those of you that do, you're nodding along. I know you are. You're saying, yes, Declan, that's why the techie stuff is proving challenging this week. So I can see that I'm live. I can see that the screen is up there. So I'm just going to start working on this now. Okay. So let's put in a little grid here and let's make it green. And I will just do this. Okay. Okay, so, and let's go now, make a little line and close off the grid there. All right, so in let's say 2017, Okay, and I'm going to draw, there's me there in 2017. Now, I had completely different financial results. I had completely different physical results. I had a completely different vehicle that me and my wife and kids drove around in. I had different worries. I had different stresses. A lot of different things going on in my life. But ultimately, my results, I was not happy with them. Okay, I was not happy with those results. That letter R represents results. Okay, now here I am, and let's say this could be anyone. This could be the people you're working with: Megan, Yelena, Dusan, John, Marguerite, Magdalena, Caroline, any of the success advisors you're working with. This could be the same for them. Shauna, who we're meeting tonight, Brian, who we're meeting tomorrow night. Any of the people who paradigm shift. This is a typical story. Okay, so this is me now in 2021, heading into the end of it. Okay, and regardless of pandemics, or regardless of things that have happened in my own personal life, things that have happened to my family, things that have happened in my home, school, difficulties in school for my children or whatever, I have paradigm shifted every single year, and I've had ups and downs and difficulties and stresses and pressures. But my new paradigm sees me having a completely different set of money, different car, different home, different physical body, different ability with reading. My study habits are better. My dietary habits are better. My bad habits are not as bad as they used to be down here in 2017. Now, how did that change happen? Well, I paradigm shifted from 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21. And what did this fella back here do to pave the way to bring this fella here into reality? Well, I got very, very clear on my goals. I got very, very clear on the things that I wanted to achieve in my life. And that's what we ultimately, you've heard from Catherine last night, you'll hear from Shauna later. We stopped being, commiserating with these results that we didn't want and just putting up with them. And we just made a decision that we were going to say no, and that wasn't going to be what we were going to do anymore. And I got to stop the screen there. Okay, so we decided that no longer were we just going to put up with this, like, well, that's just what happens. That's just how it is. We decided, you know what? I'm not happy with these results anymore. I need someone to help me. And when you make a decision like that, someone is going to show up. That's potentially why you're here this week. You've in somewhere deep down inside, you're vibrating out this energy like, I want help. I need something else. I want something different. And lo and behold, our masterclass shows up and you're right. I'm clicking on that. I'm going to be there. I'm going to go and watch this. I've heard this is good. I've heard this is a good company. I've heard that paradigm shifting is important and Bob Proctor has a good reputation. I want to figure out something. There's something that made you come here this week. And there's something that you really want to do with your life. But just like you did today, you're continually being reminded that there's things that you wanted to do and you didn't do them. There's things that you didn't want to do and you did them today. And this does more than just create like today is Tuesday, tomorrow is Wednesday. This sticks. This stuff stays with you. If there's stuff that you wanted to do today and you did not do it, you knew how to do it, you knew you could do it, you wanted to do it, but you didn't. This starts to compound over time, just like compound interest does with your money. You put your money in and you get compound interest and it grows. This compounding effect of wanting to do things and not doing it, saying you're going to do things and not doing it, New Year's resolutions that we don't do, we start to form this new paradigm of, I'll never get there. I'm not one of those lucky people that makes it. Okay, but two things will happen. You'll either come to a place of desperation where you have to make a shift. And that's where I was in that diagram in 2017. Well, it was before that, but really I think stuff started to really start to change a lot then. But from 2015 and 16, I was really getting myself out of a hole, really. So I was in a place of desperation. I think 99%, maybe 90% of the people who join our masterclasses, they're here from a place of inspiration. So a place of desperation, a place of inspiration. If you're inspired to do something different, then you've got to set your sights on something that is way beyond your current limiting beliefs. But it can't be somebody else's wants. It can't be for your mom and dad. It can't be for your neighbors. It can't be because I'll show that person the way they doubted me. It has to be from your wants. It has to be pulsing in your heart inside. Because if this isn't as important to you, like I have 3 children, I treat my goal almost like a fourth child. If I ignore it, if I don't feed it, if I don't give love to it, it's not going to do very well in life. I've got to take care of my goal as much as I would take care of and not ignore one of my children. I'd never ignore my goal. Every day I'm doing something in the direction of my goal. And a goal is something that when you get it, it creates a big change, but you don't get the goal overnight. And that's what makes a lot of people quit. But it also makes a lot of people not even start on themselves. They don't even start with something big. But let me tell you that to create those paradigm changes and those paradigm shifts, I used to have about 35,000 of an income on average. My wife earned more. The bank wouldn't give us a mortgage, and that was my goal. I wanted the mortgage. So when I just made a decision, I was going to get I was going to double my income or get a lot of money to start building our house with cash if we had to. When I made that decision, it was because of a deep, deep want. I used to close my eyes in the morning and visualize the children running up into this really big sitting room that had loads of glass, looking down on the ocean and a Christmas tree in the corner. At the time, it was a grassy field and I was living in a very small cottage on the other side of the water. But I was praying and wishing and hoping and wanting. And this was like a magnificent obsession, I've heard it called before. And you've got something like that you really want as well. And we've got a lot of clients on the call here. They're going after something that they truly want. Our team, they're all going after goals that they truly want in life. And when they go after something with a passion in their heart, it changes your vibration. And when you're in a different vibration, you'll start attracting to you all of the things that you want and that you need to make it happen. We are goal-seeking organisms. And if we allow the systems that we've been given by our great creator to work for us instead of working against us, we can achieve almost anything. Now, if you're not going after what you truly want, with the first bump in the road, you're gone. You're just going to quit. But if it's a passion, if it's a purpose, if it's a goal that you truly want, you will paradigm shift. You will change, and the change is going to be so rapid. It's going to be so transformational, and it's permanent. It's not like you attend a seminar, you get all fired up, you do a few things, and then you go back down. The changes are permanent. But a lot of people don't even go there because they think it's overwhelmingly big. You have to dream big, but you have to take small steps every day in the direction, and then you'll get a big opportunity, and you grab that with both hands. So let's go back to our worksheet, please, and let's write down a paradigm so that you understand it more, because a boxer has to see what he's boxing or what she's boxing, like Katie Taylor, what she's boxing. If they're blindfolded, they can't hit what it is. We've taught you last night a little bit about self-image. Today, we're going to bring paradigms to your attention so you know what you're aiming for, you know what you're trying to get rid of, or what you're trying to change rather than get rid of. A paradigm is a term that's used to describe a mass of information that is programmed into an individual's subconscious mind. So a paradigm is a term that's used to describe a mass of information that is programmed into an individual's subconscious mind. And it's programmed there. See the word G? It says genetically and environmentally. So a paradigm is a term that is used to describe a mass of information that is programmed into your subconscious mind genetically and environmentally. This is expressed in every minute of every day, and it is in control of our habits and our results. So remember, if you are not happy with the results that you have in your life, then you have to change your paradigm. You have to change your habits to change your results. Okay, so let me just do something here very quickly, get something ready for you guys. Okay, and we're back here. Excellent. So let's write that down again. Let's go to the next one. It's expressed every minute of every day, and it's in control of our habits, and it's in control of our results. There we go. Now I just have to... There we go. Okay, where are we? Beautiful. Okay, so a paradigm is a term used to describe a mass of information. It's programmed into the individual's mind genetically and environmentally. So genetically, does anybody of you look a little bit like your parents, your aunties and uncles, your grandparents? Of course you do. You could tell, for example, I was at a football game on Sunday, and there was a young fella, and he was rolling down the the little slope behind the goals, and he was going onto the field of play, and there was a pretty terrifying group of guys down there getting very heated towards the end of the game, and we needed to get this little 2-year-old boy out of here. And the minute one of the lads beside me said, "Who's that fella?" And I told him, he was like, "Oh my God, you can see it. He looks like his mom or he looks like his dad." So we're programmed genetically, but we're programmed environmentally as well. If you think about it, I got 3 kids now. They're 11 and 9, 11 and 8, soon to be 9 and 6. And, you know, they're probably programmed environmentally by June and I. But as the years go on, you know, they might come home with big leather jacket, the big black boots and spiked up black hair and the goth image, or they might be into something else, or they might be into something else. Who knows what way it's going to go. But people can be programmed by the people they hang around with, the offices they're in. I know one of the guys in our team, Mr. Dusan Bogdanovic, I remember him talking about, he came to a little seminar that I did in Tralee, and he hung around with people who are here with us tonight, like Jonathan and his partner, Lexi, and there was other wonderful clients in the academy there, like Diana and Tara and other people like that. And he had never been around an environment of people like that, so confident, so positive, so focused, so willing to share and open up. He was used to being in an environment where, you know, there was a lot of negativity and people, you know, kind of complaining and stuff like that. And that was one of the reasons he said, "I think I'm going to work with these people. I think I'm going to study with these people," and take himself and his wife and his little girl and try and make a change in their lives. And Yelena, who many of you know, is Dusan's wife. And the same thing, they both came to the masterclass. It was a completely different environment that they've been used to. You're probably finding this environment a little bit different than what you're used to on a regular Tuesday night. So we get programmed by hanging around with the right kind of people, listening to the right kind of ideas. You don't need to shun your family and friends and your football team and your book writers group. You're not better or worse than anybody else, but you certainly start thinking in a different way and you start improving your life. It's up to other people to judge whether that's good or bad. If it's good for you, you should do it. If you really want to get different financial results, different physical results, and make them permanent rather than the roller coaster, then you need to learn how to paradigm shift. And there's 2 ways that we shift our paradigm. One of them is quite negative. It's when something happens to you that you're not expecting. That note on the kitchen table, "I'm leaving." A sign on the door or an email saying, Have you seen the news? What? We're in lockdown. Or have you seen the news? The company's gone into receivership. You know, we've had people I was in Tralee today and I was in Manor West and I saw this big, huge door all closed. It used to be Debenhams. Like, there's a lot of jobs gone there, suppliers' jobs gone. So these kind of things happen, okay? And it's a paradigm shift. And when it happens to us, it's usually negative. But when it happens by our choice, it is always positive. It's fantastic. You are making changes in your life. A lot of the results that you have right now, you subconsciously kind of created many of them. You know, you did certain things because you were in your 20s, and then certain things you were in your 30s. You did certain things because you were single, and certain things because you were married or engaged or whatever. We start to change as our years go on, and we start to form these habits because everybody else is forming the same habits. And someday you wake up in a world and kind of go, "How did I get here?" There was somebody's talking about the way I use music in my teaching. There's a song that just came to me now, Talking Heads, and he's like, "You may ask yourself, it's a kind of a talking song," and he was like, "You wake up one day and say, 'How did I get here?' Letting the days go by." You know that song? That song is kind of like it. It's a kind of like, how did I get here? When did I become, like, when did this happen? I thought about it a few weeks ago. My children were doing something and I was like, "Get it," and I was like, "Oh my God, I've become my mom and dad," where you're talking through panes of glass and doing sign language. I was like, "Oh my God, I've just become an old person all of a sudden. How did this happen? I used to be cool, man. I used to have an Oasis haircut and I used to travel all over the world and go to festivals. What the hell? I've got a business now and I wear suits. What's happened to me?" But look, that's okay. But that can happen. You wake up one day and go, "How did this all happen?" So it was compounding over time. You just took on other people's habits and you took on, this dogma, and you took on these paradigms that this is what we do when we're that age, and this is what we do. We get all responsible and get mortgages and stuff like that. But there's still desire bursting through your veins. There's still things you really want to do. And some people don't have direction and guidance, and they go off and they have like a midlife crisis, or they do worse, they go off and really get involved in silly things. And, it's never really that positive. So when you make a decision based on wants like I showed you that grid going from the bottom to the top of the grid from 2017 to 2021. Every step along the way, I've had ups and downs, but I was always following my want, the North Star, that lighthouse, that beam of hope, that this is what I truly want and I am going to make it happen. And it's gorgeous. Now, you can't do it alone. So I've always had mentors since I realized that I couldn't do it on my own. And I've always had the right kind of people around me. All of our clients have the right kind of people around them in the academy. You see the habits, like getting up at 6 a.m. You don't have to do that if you join our academy, but this is what they do. They get up, they study together, they're there for one another. We have calls on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays with me live. We just missed our call this evening because, again, these little gremlins are working. I couldn't get on Zoom. But we're always together. We always live our lives. There's 23 other hours in the day, but for about an hour a day, everyone's plugging into a new mindset and everyone's going after their goals and everyone's rooting each other on to get towards their goals, okay, and rooting for each other. So let's go on to the end of this workbook here, where it says it's expressing itself every minute of every day, and it controls our habits and it controls our results. Paradigms are either positive or negative, and I spoke about that a moment ago. Your present results in life are directly as a result of your self-image and ultimately your paradigm. You see, the self-image is part of the paradigm. Trust me, if you don't get this in one session, that's okay. We've people on lessons 4, 5, 6. We've people 6 weeks ago. I still haven't figured it out. My wife doesn't study this as much as I do. She knows it intellectually, embodies it for some aspects on a subconscious level, and it's just effortless. And on other levels, I see her struggling. Whereas, if she just programmed her subconscious mind for everything with a new paradigm, it would happen more effortlessly. But you can't. Like, this would be something I would really recommend that none of you do, is like do the masterclass and then go around telling everybody how to live their life. Yeah, that's a surefire way to not get a lot of Christmas presents this year. Do this for you. This is your time. This is your life. Don't be going around trying to coach everybody just because you've done a little bit about self-image and about paradigm shifting, okay? Make this about you. It's really good to be a little bit selfish about this, and it's really good for you to really just do this for your own personal development, okay? Now, we've got some homework for you to do today. Right now, my financial paradigm is, I would say, I sleep so well, and I didn't sleep so well with my financial paradigm for a long, long time. I wake up in the morning, and an old familiar pang tries to find itself. An old familiar feeling tries to find itself in my stomach, a feeling of worry, a feeling of sadness, a feeling of fear. Oh my God, you owe money, you don't have it, And then I just straight away go, that's actually not my reality anymore. You see, I earned more money than most teenagers did. I always had a summer job and I always worked and I saved. And I went off to college and CIT with a lot of money than my friends didn't have. I was a good guy with money, and fell in love with my beautiful wife, June, when I was 19, just gone 20. And I was 20, and we started going off to Edinburgh, and we started buying her things. And, I just spent, I'm a generous guy when it comes to money. I like treating people. And, I was in mad love. So I was like, let's go here, let's go there. Do you want to know what? Let's do this. I was like, Oprah, you get a car, you get a car. So I brought my balance down to less than it had ever been, which was unusual. But it started a period of my life from when I was 20 till I was 35. I'm just gone 41 now. So the last 6 years has been a fantastic thing since I met Bob Proctor. But there was 15 years of a downward spiral, and then add into that wedding, add into that global travel, add into that three children. And I found myself in a position where I was my paradigm was a debt paradigm, an unhappiness paradigm, a worry paradigm. So when you look at day 2 homework, you're asked to think of a recurring theme in your life. Whether it was me, it was finances. That would be the most obvious change that I would say the community around here would probably see. It's like, Jesus, there's a big change in that fella's life, because it's the stuff that I'm able to do now that's more evident from the outside looking in. But I can't take any of that stuff with me. And God willing, it won't be for about 50 or 60 years that I am going to the next world. But one thing is the change that I see that I'm most happy with is my thinking stuff, my ability to connect with my children and my wife and my clients and my team, my sense of presence, my sense of joy and happiness and serenity. Not all the time, but majority of the time. I used to be quite depressed and anxious and angry. And now I find a lot more of an equilibrium. But that's nicer than, you know, I like, yes, a nice house and nice cars and all that stuff. But I can think of a time in my life, and I've told you a little bit of it, where my financial paradigm was negative. And that's the second column. So I worried a lot. I worried about if the cars broke down. I worried about June being at the till, and this happened in Super Value and Carsivine, and trying to pay and the card not working, and then having to take money out of savings at the till, and it's embarrassing. And it was horrible, you know. My negative money paradigm kept attracting debt towards us, and always at levels. You know, we always had just enough. I had a story. I was in number 5 Lambert Court in Athenry, and I walked to the shop with Scrappy, who's still here, my lovely dog, and I walked to the shop with 20 quid, and I wanted 20 quid of home heating oil. And I lifted the tank and I put blocks underneath it. This was when after Dylan was born, so about 2014. And that was it. June's payday was every 2 weeks. And when it came around, we had somewhere for all that money to go. It was really tough. And those financial things, I tell you one thing, I've given you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got probably 7 pages I could write about the negative money paradigm and what life was like when it was negative. But what it's like when it's positive is I bought my mom and dad a brand new telly the other day. I got, you know, I've done things with nice cars or whatever. I get to treat my team. I haven't given them a treat in a little while. Actually, it just dawned on me the other day. I get to treat people. I get to donate money. I get to do things that I could only dream of a few years ago. This is just me. Like, what about you? Think about it when you, we've got a wonderful member of our team now, and going back to the gym, and you can just see it, like, just radiating confidence out of herself. And, you know, she's proud of herself, and it's pouring into other aspects of her life. And she can think of times where she had a negative health paradigm and how that affected and trickled into other aspects of her life. You might have a positive relationship paradigm and a negative relationship paradigm. So when you start writing them down, you can start to see how perhaps it takes a little bit of work on your behalf to make the positive ones happen, but how blooming easy it is to just slip into the negative ones. Like, I honestly think the meaning of life, in a sense, is for us to do the best that we can with the chance we've been given, because it is easy. You know, did you ever hear of the devil tempts an idle mind? Did you ever hear of that saying? Well, if we're idle, or if we're busy, or if we're distracted, then we can't be going after what we truly want in a very passionate, focused, disciplined, confident, steadfast way. And that's why paradigm shifting relies on a big goal. So we take a week to 2 weeks designing the goal with each individual, getting it right. I talked to an absolutely fantastic lady called Karen today, and we're spending a good few weeks getting her goal ready. And that's because she's such a unique individual compared to all the other people in the academy, and they're completely unique compared to her and everybody else. Different backgrounds, different hopes and dreams, different doubts, different moments of failure in her past. But I've looked at it and I go, do you know what? You're not ready for the goal yet. You're going on to self-image, and then you're going to come back to the goal. But first of all, you've got to get clear on what you really, really want. And that takes time. So don't feel overwhelmed by this information this week, because we take people into our academy for memberships like 6, 9 months, 12 months, because it takes time. Like, I was fighting against 35 minus 7 is a 28. 28 years. June and Laura are like having such fun at the moment with me trying to do sums at the top of my head. But anyway, I'm pretty good with maths, but it's just become a little new paradigm that I get to do incorrect maths in front of people. But anyway, I was fighting against 28 years of a negative paradigm, a negative program, and I've changed it. And now I'm working on keeping it there. So how do I do it? I work on personal development every day, at least an hour a day. I ask help from people who are further along than me. I keep checking in with my mentors and my coaches, and I keep working with people who, like, I stood at the football match on Sunday. None of the guys left or right of me. They're absolutely fantastic. They're great dads. They're great neighbors. But I would not consult with them on the goal setting stuff, on the life transformation stuff, on the quantum leap stuff, going from a position of minus 35,000 a few years ago to, you know, I think our company brought in nearly 300,000 recently in a 30-day period. That doesn't make sense really when you think about it. I didn't, you know, it's a paradigm shift. And I used to watch people like me and go, I hope it's true. I think it's bullshit, but I hope it's true. And it is blooming true. And that's the thing, because I finally found somebody that I could resonate with. I finally found someone that I could believe in. And for a lot of people that we work with now, I've become that person. They're like, it's relatable. It sounds real. And we do wear our heart on our sleeves and we show them that it's real. We're feeling subtle transformations at first. And then I say, grab that. All you need is that one little proof that it works, because it works for everything, the big and the small. So we had a gorgeous lady today, Sharon, and her and I have this little goal that I know she's going after, and she broke through. But for the last 2 weeks, it's been rocky. Now, again, I mentioned Dusan earlier on. I'll always think of Dusan when I think of the words persistence test. She went through a 2-week persistence test where there was family situations going on. There was all these other things vying for her time, but she kept her eye on the prize, and she received a success in her business over a weekly period that she's never experienced before. And that's a big win. But now I've said, you got to anchor that in your subconscious mind. She's just gone through a paradigm shift. Never again can that little negative inner voice pop up and go, but you can't do it, Sharon. Because I'll say, hang on, you can. You did it before, remember? So if you have become a person who's left behind a life of working for maybe a minimum wage, that there is nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But if you're a person who's left behind that life and you're earning a salary now, but you want to go here, but you're doubting yourself again, well, you've become somebody who's changed their self-image and changed their paradigm to never really accept that that will be your income level again. And again, there is nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But this is your new standard, but you're doubting the next standard. You see, when I share that image that I shared already there, let's see, video file, is it still there? When I shared that image earlier on of the scale that I was talking about, that scaling up all of the time, going from level to level over a number of years. Let's see. Okay, it doesn't want to share again. That's all right. But when I was sharing that with you the last time, I was explaining how it's gone from 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021. I had a goal and a wish and a dream for the guy that I am now in this year, but it was so far removed from the life I was living. But remember, the big change shouldn't be overwhelming, because all you have to do is, you know, that wonderful prayer, give us this day our daily bread. Like, do what you can today. Just do the work in front of you. I saw a great leader, a great sportsman, Paul O'Connell, and he was talking about Joe Schmidt, who brought a lot of success to Irish rugby. Joe Schmidt used to have a saying, play the moment in front of you, because there's so much going on in a game, but all they have to do is hit that big French guy in front of them, or that Italian guy, or that English guy who's trying to hit them as well, or block them, or do something, but just play that one moment ahead of you. I do that with my children. We play Gaelic football and soccer and tennis and different things, or basketball. And I know that if they foul the ball, if they drop it, it's because they're thinking of what are they going to do next before they even receive the ball into their possession. So I break it down and say, make sure and get it first. And I've coached kids in soccer for a year as well. And I always say, as you're receiving it, make sure you're receiving it well before you're going to the next thing. So if I could, you know, that, at Christmas time, the song, we're walking in the air, with the snowman and the little boy, and they fly through the sky. Imagine if I could go back to that little cottage across the way, and I could grab that Declan, like the Ghost of Christmas Future or Ghost of Christmas Past, and fly him over into here. And I'd say, look, you're doing a masterclass. You've, 180 clients in a group. You've got a massive team. You're flying it. Everything's going well. Your marriage is great. Your kids are happy. Your parents are healthy and happy. By the way, there's been a global pandemic. You've been, 2 years, the world has been unsettled, but you've done it anyway. And I'm like, sorry, what? I wouldn't even recognize myself. I wouldn't recognize the way I'm speaking. I wouldn't be able to recognize the house, the cars parked outside it. The shift would have been overwhelming. If I knew what was going to happen, I probably would have not been able. I would have fainted or something. But I did exactly what I was told to do by my mentors, and I just worked on changing my paradigm. And this is what we did yesterday. You have to change your self-image. Today, you're learning about changing your paradigm. One of the comments, Yelena asked the question, what was your favorite part of day one? And one lady said that we can't change our results without, we can't outperform our present paradigm and our present self-image. Writing, reading, and repetition of the correct material is the second transformational way that you change your paradigm. You don't change your paradigm by buying the ticket for the gym, and that's it. You don't change your paradigm by investing in a personal development program. You don't change your paradigm by joining our academy. You change your paradigm by everything that happens after that. When you buy that little scanner at Christmas time that gets you in and out of gyms, you don't get your nice behind and thighs and calves and shoulders and lose those few pounds and abs and all that stuff. You don't get it by paying the money. You get it by going back and lifting those weights and taking those breaks in between reps and squatting and doing those breaks, drinking water instead of, soft drinks. It's over time, repetition of the proper material with the proper guidance over time. I would say the majority of us on this call are able to drive a vehicle. Your paradigm before you learned to drive and before you passed your driver's test was that you were a non-driver, an unlicensed driver. You couldn't drive. Maybe you could drive in the silage fields, maybe you could drive on the beach, but you weren't a fully fledged licensed driver at all. Okay? Now, you learned. You stalled the car a few times. You couldn't do the hill starts. You were like, oh, bloody reverse around the corner. I'm never going to get it. But you got it. And you still probably don't love reversing into spaces, so you drive into them. But then you have to reverse out of them. So you're probably, some people, they drive around to try and find those spaces that they can drive in and drive into the other one and then drive out of them again. Is that you? Let me know if that's you. But I used to, I just loved it. I know people fear it so much. But you did it. And you passed it. It might have taken you 5 or 6 goals, but you passed it. And that's what Declan O'Donoghue 2016 did. I didn't have any money, and I spent 18 months trying to make these changes happen on my own. And I believed in other people's belief in me, but I kept trying it on my own. And eventually, June was like, you're doing this now a long time and it's not working. And I gather that we need help, but we don't have the money for that. What are we going to do? And then I asked advice, and we both got on a call with a really wonderful gentleman, and we could feel his authenticity. And he just says, I don't need you to do this for me, but I think we've been together now for 18 months and the changes are obviously not happening. It's for you guys that you need to do it. And we felt the honesty. We got a couple of grand from June's credit card and a few grand from the Caribbean Credit Union, and just went for it. And we've never looked back. We both work from home. It's in my goal. It was shared today with a gentleman called Robert, actually, in the academy. It says, every day, myself and June drop our happy and healthy children to school, and we return home to our dream house in Valentia Island, where we spend our days working in our careers, eating food from our garden. Yesterday evening, I made a shepherd's pie. The potatoes are mine, the carrots are mine, the onions are mine, the garlic is mine. I grow them here, right, just as it said on the goal. At the time, I was another year older and deeper in debt. So this is how it goes. I've no reason to lie to you. And as Bob says, until you can prove that I don't know what I'm talking about or that I'm lying, then just do exactly what I tell you to do. And we've got wonderful people watching who I say that to a lot, because I don't ask, we've got great tradesmen that come to the house, but I don't ask them for advice on, I wouldn't ask the builder for advice on plumbing. I wouldn't ask the carpenter for advice on my dental work. We go to experts, people who are doing exactly what we want to do. And you are with a set of experts this week. So do exactly what we tell you to do. Finish your worksheet for Monday about self-image. And also, I'm smiling because I saw our guest just pop into the green room. So find some grapes and some strawberries there. Shauna, there should be a glass of bubbles there waiting for you. A magazine will be bringing you on in a moment. There is none of that there, but in the future there will be. When I'm on the Late Late Show and she's in the green room there, that's when we'll have all that stuff ready. So do your homework today. Start looking at your paradigm. Start looking at times in your life where you had a financial paradigm or a health paradigm or a relationship paradigm that was really positive. And if you start looking at what did you do to make that happen? How did you make that happen? You'll see that you just put in small, little, tiny adjustments. I like playing golf. Maybe it's not as well as I want it to be, but I will get better. But I know that if the face of the club hits the ball just a millimeter off, the change 200 or 270 yards down the fairway, try 170 yards down the fairway, is going to be dramatically different. It'll be far left of the fairway, far right, maybe in the water sometimes. I do need a snorkel mask sometimes when I go playing golf to painting on the course. But if it's only a millimeter off back at the tee box, the change way down the fairway is dramatically, it's huge. Those little tiny moments, you're going to hear from this wonderful lady who's joining us. On a Tuesday evening, I'd be doing a call with all the clients, and you'd see her there. She had the earphones on, the jacket on. Her paradigm was to get out and go for a walk on a Tuesday evening and listen along to our Tuesday night call, or listen along on a Thursday morning call as well, and listen in. And it was just that one little thing per day, that small, tiny adjustment makes all the difference in the long run. Those small gains you get when you go to the gym makes all the difference in the long run. That no to that second, whatever it be, second slice of cake, whatever makes all the difference in the long run. So look at your day 2 homework. Please take a picture of your day 2 homework, get a selfie of yourself with it completed, and pop it in the chat. So or pop it in the Facebook group, the Vibration and Attraction Masterclass. So what is going to happen is, I think it's going to be Ernestine or perhaps Yelena will put a graphic up later on saying, here is where we want you to submit your homework. Was it a lady called Trish that was like minutes after we were finished of submitted the homework, like maybe 20 minutes after? So well done you. I have a feeling she's going to win a prize this week, and we don't rig it, but sometimes people like that show up. It was Claudia last time, just you know, there's once in a while someone shows up, and I thought with that attitude she's bound to win something this week. So look at how these small changes, and we're asking you to make very small changes this week. Do a bit of writing, get on the 6 a.m. club, do a bit of studying about where you want to be in life, and listen to what we're telling you. Change your self-image, change your results, change your life, change your paradigm, change your results, and change your life. Okay, so I'm loving this. I am on that roller coaster. Well, you can get off it. We're getting a new car tomorrow. It has parking sensors, thank God. Amanda, I always look for a space that I can drive out of. So Patrick says he's not on Facebook. That's okay, Patrick. You're watching us on YouTube. So I've put this on YouTube just because a few people have said they're not on Facebook. So I presume you're working with a success advisor. Just send them your homework and we'll make sure you're on that sheet. Thanks, Patrick. Let's see. Money paradigm is a big one for me and for most people. Most of us have been raised believing that money is the source of all evil, or how it does not grow on trees. These ideas control our income and relationships with money, which most people carry throughout their life. And you know what? We pass that on to. I was in, many of you probably know this if you're from this region down here, is the Devon Inn in Templeglanton. And I was there with family, and I was sitting back and listening, and I was looking at my kids. And my kids were eating, and they're looking at auntie, and they're looking at grandma, they're taking it in. And the conversation, like I didn't, charge in with like, thou shalt not speak of lack. I just listened, and I talked to June afterwards about it in a nice, calm way. I was like, I don't know if you noticed, but I started bringing up examples. And in fairness, it can't be too easy, maybe sometimes being married to a personal development guru, personal development coach, but I'm always listening and observing and taking stuff in. And it was quite astounding that if you challenged many of the people who were having dinner that night, like, is that a core belief for you? They would probably say no. They were just regurgitating other things that they'd heard, and it was just, and then my little children's ears were absorbing this. Oh, it's going to be bad. You'll see. Oh, it's bound to. Oh, that'll all fall. That'll all go. It was just a very usual type of a dialogue that we hear and see all around us. But when you challenge the perception of that type of dialogue, you'll find that they don't actually believe it at all. It's just aimless discussion about lack. So the money paradigm has to stop with you. If you don't want your kids, your descendants, your nieces and nephews to continue on this kind of verbiage about there's never enough money or there's a lack, then it can stop with you. It is stopping with me in my home, and God willing, the kids can learn enough from me in their time to show them how to generate wealth and how to expand it. And I would like to think then their children and their children will learn enough, hopefully, to change it. And I think I've become that person who's done that in our family. And let's see where it goes from there. But it was a decision I made, and it was a dream I had, and it's something I wanted to make happen. So it doesn't have to go into the next generation anymore. Arguments at home doesn't need to go into the next generation. Tantrums and making a big scene to try and get what you want doesn't need to go into the next generation. We have so much at our fingertips now. It used to be Encyclopedia Britannica or whatever, but we are the generation that has so much at our disposal to really help the next generation to just have a phenomenally easy mental wealth instead of mental health, mental wealth, and a really beautiful life. Okay, so I always say, if you want to really help other people, help yourself first. Put on that oxygen mask so that you can help those around you. And we're not even scratching the surface yet. We've got 3 really good days ahead now where you're going to learn a lot more about why things happen in certain ways. So we talked about the paradigm shift. Let me see here if I have it. I have it right here. So tomorrow we're going to be talking about the genie in the lamp. And the genie in the lamp, of course, is very famous about making wishes come true and making dreams come true. So now that you've learned some of the things that are potentially shackling you without your notice, the lack of knowledge on how to change your paradigm, and the lack of awareness about what your present self-image is. We brought them to your attention. We know they're not fixed yet. We're just letting you know that it's not your fault that maybe you haven't been getting some of the results you want. You now know that there's these cybernetic mechanisms inside of us that just seem to stop us as we try and attempt to go ahead. So over the next few days, we're going to show you some of the things that helps you to really get ahead in an effortless way. And that's how it can seem sometimes. And it surprises people when it happens. Behind this wall is a clothesline. And I was at this clothesline a couple of years ago, and I was on a phone call with a lady who I'm just about to bring on the screen. And she had a pretty good result by May 2020, I think it was. 2019, 2020, pardon me. It was around May 2020. So she'd been with us for about 4 months at the time and called up. And it was a very joyful, but almost surprised kind of a tone, because she'd had quite a big result happen in her business. And then one of the joys that you have of working with me, whether you could see it as a blessing or a curse, is that I will celebrate it momentarily, but then I'll say, well, if you've done this, now you can go to the next level. And we started talking about the next level. And just as I mentioned earlier on with a kind of a hypothetical example, I've been here, Shauna, who I'm bringing on, has been here. We kind of doubt ourselves. We go to the next level. And then when I mention the next one, we still kind of doubt ourselves. So the paradigm shift is something that you have been doing subconsciously since you were 7 years of age, maybe since you were 5, but generally around 7, that age of reason closes off, where we're not all mystical and mystified. And then we get very locked into ideas. Like I can't pull the wool over Dylan and Layla's eyes. They're 11 and 8, but Joni's still like mystified by, really, Dad? And there's the giant living dingle and lying on the top of the ocean. You know, there's an island that looks like a giant. And how did he get there, Daddy? And that old mystical stuff is lost on the other two. It's like, yeah, right, Dad. It's not even a real giant. It's an island. Oh, you know, but like we get so locked into ideas, and our beautiful clients, when they get a transformational result, I go, you did that, you know, you manifested that, you created that. And then I say, you can go to the next level. But how can I? Who am I to do it? So you're going to see that happening little by little over the week. You're going to start to believe a bit more and crack open that shell. And we're going to show you Wednesday, Thursday, Friday how you can do that. And we're going to have really good contributors that are going to explain their story of how they've done it as well. So stick with us. I saw a message from Dusan. A lot of people can't get on. I don't know what's happening with Facebook, but they will find the replay. And for those of you who are watching the replay, thank you for sticking with us. Type replay in the chat and let us know so we can support you. And without further ado, let's bring on somebody that I'm absolutely honored to know, a wonderful lady who I think my first impression, it probably was her first impression of me as well, but I sent her a message because I said, by the way, I just had a quick look at your business, and this is more than just fashion. There's something going on here. And she was delighted that someone, well, I'm sure many people noticed it, but I said it because I really saw a lady who was trying to positively impact the lives of her clients in more than just the outward appearance and changing their style. There's a lot more to this lady, and I think you'll agree after meeting with her. So without further ado, let's bring on Shauna from Style Search. There you are.
Hi, Declan.
How is it going? Are you well?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm very well. Well, how did I go with my introduction there? I'm practicing for the late. We don't have any music. I should get up and welcome you and shake hands, but for now it's StreamYard, and it's my masterclass rather than the Late Show. So thank you so much for joining us on the Vibration and Attraction Masterclass. I guess I better go way back a couple of years, and thank you for coming to the seminar, and thank you for maybe allowing some of what we teach to impact your life. We've been talking yesterday, Shauna, about the self-image, and today we're talking about paradigm shifting. The world knows a lot about you and is going to know a lot more because of your amazing company that you've created called Style Search, which is just on the up and up all the time. Everywhere I look, I see it, and it's really, really good. So would you mind telling me and these listeners a little bit about Style Search and what it is, and then we can talk a little bit more about how it all came to be.
Great. Yeah. So stylesearch.ie is a shopping destination site. So our aim is for it to be your one-stop shopping site, and our goal is just to make shopping easy. So we show you the best fashion online across a whole range of brands for a whole range of sizes, shapes, occasions, and budgets, and all on the one platform. So, you know, we kind of add that element of personalization to the hugely impersonal online shopping world nowadays. And it allows people to, you know, make inspired fashion choices and spend their time and their money wisely, rather than spending hours trawling through the overwhelming amount of choice that are out there nowadays.
And Shauna, if I go back 3 years ago, where was Style Search?
So 3 years ago, Style Search was just an idea. I don't even know if I had the idea at that stage, actually.
Yeah.
So I had started 9 to 5 Style, and I've rebranded since the Style Search. So it was initially 9 to 5 Style, which just started out as a hobby, as sharing my love of fashion and styling online. And the business grew from that. So I was a primary school teacher, first of all, and then branched into this business.
So it was something you loved to do, and you decided to tell me more about 9 to 5 Style again, because that's how we first met. I'm obviously aware of it, but just for our viewers here today, how did Style Search start at 9 to 5 Style? What did you used to do there?
Yeah, so I suppose I saw kind of a niche in the area of smart casual and kind of workwear style that wasn't being filled. So I had an idea of doing that, but I really didn't want to have to do all the, what I had thought at the time, all the kind of personal aspect that goes behind having a page or a blog or that sort of a thing. So I came up with the concept of staying anonymous, of wearing a hat, and totally keeping the focus on the clothes and on the style. So all you see when you look at the outfit is not about me, not about what I look like, my hair, what I'm doing that day. It is just about the clothes and where to buy them and how, you know, it can help you look and feel amazing. So that was the concept. Started off just sharing my style and my ideas, and it grew really quickly, and grew to quite a large following to what it is now, with over 70,000 people.
Yeah, it's excellent. So I recall then, I think you might have liked or inquired. Back then I used to do pretty much all my own stuff, my Facebook and nearly everything, you know. Now we have a great team and lots of different heads of department and that kind of stuff. But I remember checking my Facebook, it was like, it wasn't a person's name. It said 9 to 5 Style. I goes, oh, that's interesting. And June's a big Dolly Parton fan and working 9 to 5, you know. So I clicked on it and had a look. And I was like, oh, that's such a cool idea, because my wife loves hats. My business partner at the time loved hats. And I saw this lady with the hat, and his head was pointing down, and I knew exactly what you were doing. It was like this, there was the stairs, I think back up in your home, there was the stairs behind you. And I was like, this is not about her. I was like, I love it. I love it. It was so unique. And I was like, oh, I hope this girl comes to the seminar. And along you came. And we got chatting about it. But before Shauna came along, there's something we teach in the academy. It's called giving people the impression of increase. And it's like seeing it, it's saying it how you see it. You know, if someone's doing well, you just say it. And I sent a message, and I think it meant a lot, because it was probably something that you weren't going out there and saying, you know, I'm just doing this, not about me, it's about you. But that would almost have come across as intentional then, but it's the subtlety of it I really loved, and I still do. It's you know, even the way Style Search has transformed into, you know, it's pretty much a phenomenal search engine in a sense, but you know, the way you describe the figures and everything to people, it really draws people in. We've got a little joke going on in our house at the moment. It's like, so Sean is after sending me something, and that's like, really, June, you know, which means she's after posting something that I want to buy, and I'm going to buy it, and it's going to get sent to our house. So yeah, I remember June was like, I was reluctant. I was like, are you going to get Shauna? She's going to style you. And, you know, I mean, that's obviously, I didn't say it like that, but she was a bit reluctant, but now she's hooked. I think she's like, I saw a thing one time where there was a girl and a guy, and they were arguing because he was addicted to Uber. He was actually just taking Uber rides because he was addicted. I think June's getting addicted to Style Search. So you have a big fan here. You have two big fans. Actually, I'm styled by Shauna tonight. I got styled. I got 5 outfits, and I'm wearing them tonight. Well, not all 5 of them, of course. But well, it kind of felt like that earlier on with all the technology issues. It was getting pretty hot under the collar. So, Shauna, let's go back to, there's people joining our masterclass, okay? As I said, there's like 6 million people in Ireland. We've probably 350 people registered. We've probably anything between 100, 180, 200 people watching replays in a country of 6 million people. You were in a seminar one night with about 50 people in a county of, you know, 70 or 80,000. not everybody kind of gets an idea that their idea can become something and they follow it. A lot of people put a lid on that and they put that away. I couldn't do that. What changed inside of you? You're so lucky. You're a primary school teacher. You've got it all figured out. Why take the thoughts into a thing? Why turn an idea into this? What was it that triggered inside of you to follow your dream?
I suppose, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate, I just always had that knowing, like I just had a feeling always that I wanted to do more. There was something else I wanted to do. I wasn't fully content. Like I love teaching. I think I was a good teacher. I really enjoyed it. I would recommend it to anybody else as a career. It wasn't that I didn't like what I was doing and wanted to leave. That wasn't it at all. It was just, I just wanted to do something more. And when I came up with the idea for Style Search, or for 9 to 5 Style, at the time it was just a hobby. I always had ideas in my head of where it could go, but was just kind of started out, let's just see. I felt such contentment and such joy that I had that goal that I was working towards. And that's what I was seeking. It was the journey and the goal that I was reaching for, because I kind of felt when I was teaching, that was kind of it. Like I'd reached the pinnacle, because I didn't want to be a principal. That wasn't appealing to me. So that was kind of where I was kind of going. And when I had this goal of something else, I just felt like I'm on the right path. Like I loved the growth that was associated with it. So like when it came to it, it was a huge risk. Like when I was teaching for 5 years, came the 9 to 5 Style took off. Had the idea to offer a more personalized service, and that went really well. So I went part-time then teaching. So I was half teaching, half on my business. And I did that for a year. And I kind of felt like I was half-arsing both, for want of a better word. Like I wasn't giving my whole self to either. And when I do something, I like to do it 100%. So I took a really big risk and said, I'm going to leave teaching and I'm going to make a go at this. And it was the year that I would have been made permanent. So it was a really big risk. And I just felt like if I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it. So I decided to remove myself from the panel. So in Ireland, you rack up your years and then you go on the panel. So I decided to remove myself from the panel, tell the school I wasn't going to be returning that September. And really, I wasn't financially in a position to do that. Like, so it was a really big risk. Like the business was going well, running alongside the teaching wages,
Yes.
So it was a huge risk, but I said, look, I'm going to chance my arm and just go for it. So the summer prior, actually, there was an article in the Kerry Man, and it was a big entrepreneurs. They did a little spread on entrepreneurs. And I saw this program, the New Frontiers program, and I looked at it and I said, oh, that sounds brilliant. That looks something I'd love to do. And I thought to myself, I'm going to go for that next year. And I kept the whole cutout, and I still have it up in my room. And I kept it. That was the year prior. So I left my teaching job in June. And that summer I applied for the New Frontiers program. And it's very, very competitive to get into. And financially, they support you while you're in the program. And I got onto that program and started that September. So everything worked out absolutely perfectly. There was never an issue. And I just think you have to take the risk, because you'll never know, you'll never know if you never try it.
Yeah, and I may do it towards the end of the week, but I use props from time to time, and I had a string of pearls belong to June, and I would show people how, if you hold the string of pearls at the end and you just grab that middle one, they're so attached to the next one, and one goes in a negative way, one goes in a positive way. And when you got that idea for the New Frontiers, it linked to something else. Or when you got an idea for 9 to 5, it linked to something else. Bob talks about an old saying, it could be a prayer, it could be a part of the Bible, it could be a quote, but it's like, asking it is given, knock and the door is opened, asking you shall receive, and it's like that. You kept looking for it. I remember you talking to me about No Frontiers, and there was the next level, and it was whittled down. Let's say it was a dozen, whittled down to 6, whittled down to 3. And did you end up winning that all out? Like,
yeah. So they take on a certain amount, and then for phase 2, and then only 2 people. I was in the first cohort in Ireland, got through to the next phase again. So it was a huge.
You told me something today actually about a school. Tell me that story. I love that, and I'm gonna explain why. I'll tell you where I was. I was going through Killarglen when I got your voice note about the school, and it's just there was nobody in the car to celebrate with. I was like, yes, it means so much to me that that happened. But why don't you tell everybody what's happening with the school?
Yeah, so I suppose it's been a big journey, a big self-image journey for me to go from being a teacher to being an entrepreneur, and seeing myself in that light, and to even to put myself out there, because as I say, sure, I was anonymous on 9 to 5 Style for so long. So it has been a huge self-image journey for me, and the Thinking to Results program has just been absolutely invaluable in that. But so I got a message recently that I am being studied as a case study, as an entrepreneur case study in a secondary school in the business class. So, it's so lovely to see that I'm recognized as an entrepreneur in that sense. And even myself, again, it's a pure paradigm, because I'm thinking now, am I even worthy of that? But
it's fantastic. And Shauna, I'm pretty good memory, but so we met for lunch. Shauna came to a seminar, and actually was Susan at that seminar as well. She's going to be on with us. Was she the same one? So that was the one that she's.
Yelena was. I'm not sure if Susan. She might have been.
Oh, do you know what? You came to the January one. The November one is where Susan stood up, and because I asked an anonymous. I said, look, somebody here tonight spoke with somebody that has inspired them, and would you mind telling it? And it was a guy from Mill Street. And he said, I spoke to this wonderful girl, and she wants to change her life and all that. And I said, would you mind telling me who you are? And Susan popped up. So we'll come back to that. But sorry, it was the January one. But so we met the next day. I stayed over in Killarney, or maybe it didn't, but I met you anyway in Ballygarry House for lunch the next day. And we were chatting. And I would love to go back and find that Shauna and get her to watch this interview, because can you bring yourself back to that lunch, and we were chatting about your future and your present and where you could go with this, because it was an unknown, and when it's an unknown, fear can be very prevalent. Okay, but now it's clear to see for everybody, you're so relaxed and you're confident, and you're really getting started at the same time. It's a huge success, but you're still getting started. But even listening to you talking, I see such confidence, such an increase in confidence to the girl that I had lunch with that day. But if you could go back and sit beside her, what are you feeling when you're there that day and we're talking about your future? It's not even 2 years ago, and it's here now. What were you feeling back then?
I suppose I always had ideas. I from the get-go, I had a big idea for Style Search. I knew the end goal from the first concept of it, but it's that belief, the belief that can you do it? Is it possible for me? Even simply in the case of Thinking into Results, I didn't have the money to do the program, but never once I made the decision to commit to do the program, never once did a month go by where I worried about, would I have the money? It just was always there. It was just perfect, so it's even to have my face out there now and to be confidently speaking about my business, it's huge. It's such leaps and bounds from where I was.
Yeah, we're talking tomorrow about the genie in the lamp, because Shauna is a great student, and we study a diagram. We're going to be talking about it tomorrow, called the stick figure. So we've got the top half. It's in my branding there in the top of the page. They've got the top half is the conscious, and the bottom half is the subconscious mind. And Shauna, we were working on a goal. I was working on a goal. I remember before, it's I hope my company earns so many thousand a month, and so on and so forth. And it was kind of flattening out at the start of the year at a certain level. And then I changed it, just changed the affirmation to $1 million a month. Just why the feck not? Because I teach this stuff. And the minute I shifted to another level, stuff started to happen. It was the belief goes into the subconscious. And this is where, 5,999 people in Ireland will switch off, because they're like, oh, it doesn't work. And unfortunately, they can keep their skepticism. I am not going to ask them for any of it. I would love to give them all of our absolute confidence, because you were afraid, but you knew, you had a passion, you knew there was something, and you saw the end goal. That is, abracadabra, the magic word, the genie in the lamp. It's turning a thought into a thing. Everything that we marvel at, like Steve Jobs, we're here, I'm on an Apple device, maybe you are as well. He was sleeping on couches, dreaming of a world where people be connected for free. StreamYard is free, Facebook is free, and I'm talking to you in pretty much HD quality about an idea that you've turned into a thing. and you're part of my presentation that was an idea that we've turned into a thing. It's just extraordinary. And it, you know, if you put a little seed in the ground, it grows a plant and it produces more seeds. That's what's actually happening. We're going to be talking about it on Thursday and Friday. What's happening with Style Search, it's called the acceleration and creation phase, because now Sean is not putting her ideas into a subconscious that has half doubt. You know, you mentioned it earlier on, like half-arse doing something. Your lower half of your mind, your subconscious mind, lower doesn't mean worse. It's just as the diagram goes, is so clear now. What goes in there, it's just sped up very quickly. To get to the acceleration and creation phase, you got to earn your stripes. You got to go through the doubt, fear, worry, trying, failing. You probably had many conversations with Keith where he's like, "You're going to get there, sweetheart." It's like, "It's not working." You know, June's definitely been that for me. And then you get there and everyone's like, "Bravo, you're so lucky." But, you know, Michael Jordan said it as well. You know, it seems the more I try, the more I practice, the luckier I got. So, Shauna, I would like that the reason I love the story about the school so much is not just because you were a teacher who became an entrepreneur and now you're being studied. For me, it's I love the ideas. And I remember we chatted that day, we had lunch, and then I went around doing some other jobs in Tralee. But I remember when I was heading home, it was dark, and I parked. There's this road you can take from Tralee up to the mountain and head down south where I'm from, and it's called Farmer's Bridge. And I remember I pulled in front of a guy's house because we had arranged a follow-up call, and you'd gone away to make your decision, and we had a chat. I remember pulling in outside the guy's house, and I was on the phone talking with you, and I asked you to kind of just go in your imagination to a place. You know, what would you love to be doing? And you said, "I'd love to be inspiring young women that they can become entrepreneurs." I go, "So where is this on?" And we picked a seminar room, which was the Great Southern Hotel in Killarney. And we picked the seminar room, and I was like, "Okay, what are you doing?" And you're wearing the black hat and you've got the microphone and you're talking. And I pictured, my wife was teaching in Killarney at the time, and I pictured two girls like mitching off school and running up because they're like, "Shauna from Style Search is there." And they crept in the back of the auditorium to watch you. And I was like, "What's that lady doing?" And you're like, "Oh my God, it would be amazing." But that was actually way out of your reach. You know, I believed in it, but I don't know if you really believed in it. And I asked that girl, I asked Shauna, I goes, "Ask that girl what's she doing. And is she confident?" "Yes." "Why?" And you're like, "Well, she's got the results, but I don't." Now you've got the results. Do you feel more like that lady who's up on that stage inspiring those girls than you did a couple of years ago?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely closer. But you know, like everything we learn and thinking into results, they're tools for life, and it's things
Yeah.
you're constantly applying, and you know, will help you in so many situations going forward. So
Yeah.
it's I you know, I'm not there 100%. There's still loads of work I can do, but that's all part of the journey, and the journey is the fun part, really, isn't it?
It is. Well, that's going to be one of my next questions is what is the future from that? But going back to what you said, that you're not there yet and you are developing it. I'm sure, you know, Richard Branson and Mel Robbins and all these amazing people are like, "Oh, I'm like Bob even says that he's been studying this for over 60 years. He says, I'm literally scratching the surface of my potential." So you've had other challenges, Shauna. Like if I said to you that day at that lunch, by the way, by the way, we're going to go through the worst pandemic in 100 years in Earth, and we're going to be locked down. So are you still in? You probably, like Dusan, Yelena, everybody, Megan, everybody who started at the time probably would have said, "Do you know what? I won't." And then but you would have said no, right? If you knew there was a pandemic coming.
100%. And it was the best thing I ever did was that I had it during the pandemic, because I launched my first version of Style Search in just the end of February, the 20th of February.
Yeah.
And it was literally like weeks later, everything was shutting down. So things could have been so different, but
yeah. Well, it was really handy that it did play into the hands of online shopping, but you couldn't have known that. Nobody could have known that. Drivers could have been stopped as well. Like it just so happened that they were allowed to go. It did help. But you know, we had a wedding photographer that you know as well. All her business was gone in one announcement by Mr. Varadkar. It was all gone. And you know, I asked her in September if I could do the Men in Black thing where I hold up the zapper and you can forget everything you've learned from us, and I could give you 10 times your investment back, would you do it? She's like, "No flipping way," because you use it for everything. Just as you said, you guys have you're getting married to Keith. You guys have had some setbacks with that as well because of the pandemic. Did you feel that the Thinking into Results information and the support you got with, say, in our academy helped you with that stuff as well, Shauna?
Oh, without a doubt. Like, I mean, attitude is everything, and that's a huge thing that you learn in the Thinking into Results program. And you know, life, like, you can do this program and you know, you can think positive all you want, but life still goes on. These things happen, unfortunate setbacks occur, but it's about your attitude and how you approach it. And that's the best gift ever, and what Thinking into Results have given, because nothing is seen as that big of a deal. So we postponed our wedding, but you look for the positives, you look for the benefits, you know, that can come of it. And it was the right decision for us postponing. So we're getting married in April next year, please God.
Exciting stuff. Shauna, within reason, tell us what's the future for Style Search. I know there's probably stuff we could talk about in private, your vision, and I would recommend people do that. Keep your secrets to yourself about the real big vision. But where would you like to see Style Search 5 years from now?
So I hope to expand Style Search into the UK and European markets, at least.
Sorry, did you say I'm hoping to?
Oh, we will be.
There you go. Thank you, Shauna. That's good.
Expanding into menswear on the website, the shopping side of it. And there's so many plans, but to be the one-stop #1 online shopping site, and just make shopping easy for everyone and help them to look and feel amazing.
It's really good. And what I love about it, and I said this at the beginning, it feels very homely. I don't know how I can describe it, because it's on the screen. There's a lot of stuff on the screen you can feel very detached to, but I don't know how you've done it. I know how you've done it, but for you, I know you don't do all the tech stuff. You've collaborated with a particular designer, but for them to have grabbed your, like I've seen it with Yelena and Ernestine and Laura and Megan and Dusan and all the guys in our team, they have grabbed my wishes and dreams and visions and made a lot of it their own. And the way that they're representing our company is, I couldn't have asked for a better group of people, all our success advisors. You've put something into Style Search that is really different, Shauna. I can't put my finger on it, but it's very homely, it's very inviting, and it's a credit to you, you know. And I really feel that for anybody, you know, a lot of us underestimate like how really good we are, and there's a real goodness to you. And you know, from the very first message I sent you, it's evident you're doing more than this for your own fame and fortune. There's a mission going on here, and I think we'll understand more as the future goes on. And again, that was represented the minute the pandemic started. Shauna started sending all her resources she had from primary school teaching, because there was parents at home going, what are these kids doing here at 11 in the morning? What the heck? So there's a real goodness to you, and there is a law of cause and effect. This year we introduced something called the 6 a.m. Club, and it was Yelena Dusan and Megan and Laura, and they've taken it on, and they've just given up their own time to allow our clients to have a position where they can study in harmony together at 6 in the morning and get all their necessary worksheets done, take their dose of mind vitamins first thing in the morning. And each one of them have prospered, because when you give, you get. The more you give, the more you get. And I believe Style Search, yes, there's a vision, yes, there's your love of fashion, but there's an energetic flow happening here, and it's because of your way of being, Shauna. So it's a credit to you. You deserve all your success, and I know you're literally just getting started. And in 5 years' time, when you've taken over the world, I'll be saying, what about the Martians? You know, they need the style as well. You're going to take that over as well. So we all are rooting for you. We're cheering you on. We share like screenshots of what's happening. Like, she's in the Sunday Business Post, so we're big fans. And just thank you for coming on here and inspiring a lot of people watching this interview. And I think they'll find you very relatable. And yeah, just keep going. We're really proud of you, and we just can't wait to be invited to Paris. Pretty much, that's what we're all here. That's what we're all hoping for. So, Shauna, have you any last words for us?
No, just go for it if you have that feeling. You know, I watched all the YouTubes, I read all the books, I did it all for years. I really was interested in personal development, but there's nothing compared to having the structure and the program and the mentorship. I loved it. I loved every minute of it, and continue to study it. And it has made a huge impact on my life. So I've no doubt it will to others.
That's good. Very nice of you to say, Shauna. Well, listen, thanks a million, and looking forward to meeting you in person again soon. I've invited Shauna to be on my future podcast. It's going to be called "What's the Big Idea?" And this is a big idea, and it's fantastic. And it's an idea that could have died on the shelf, but you backed yourself and you made the right decision. So well done, Shauna. Congratulations, and we'll let you back to your evening. And thanks for being here with us. So I will just pop you off the screen there now for a second. Okay, maybe can you click it, or is it?
Yeah.
There she is. Sorry, hi, Shauna. So everybody, thanks for being here tonight. For those of you who are watching the replay, I know everyone that's in the group is going to get to see the replay. Thank you for sticking with it and not being able to watch it live. We apologize for that. I don't know if it's anything that we've done. But for those of you who've been with us throughout the evening, I hope you really enjoyed that. Send some love. I would recommend that's a really good gift voucher to buy anyone for Christmas as well, is a style package. Style Search is really, really good. I was a little bit intimidated by it, but I was like, the minute I just did it, it changed. I really love putting on the clothes that Shauna selected for me. It's really strange how it works, but you see a lot of the testimonials. People are like, I don't know how they got it so right, but it is really good. So it would be a great little stocking filler, a gift certificate for a style package for a loved one. I would recommend it as well. And yeah, hint, hint there, team. I'm kidding. All right, everybody, take care. We're going to see you tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock. We're going to be talking to a really amazing guy at 8 o'clock called Brian. Brian's a multi-millionaire. He has his own personal development company like myself, but he also has a network marketing company. He's a property company. He's a construction company. He's brought this into his family life. His beautiful daughter, Madison, and him created a really wonderful team together, and they're just gone into all different areas. But he's a real scientist when it comes to law of attraction and law of vibration. And I'm delighted he's come on. It won't be his last time joining me. I'm definitely going to be getting him on a few more interviews in the future. He's a really top guy, Italian American, but I'm always trying to claim him as Irish. I just think you'll see. He just seems like a real Irish guy. So join us tomorrow evening. And I would like you to continue to share the competition. We've got a competition where you could win the package that Shauna invested in, working with us in the academy on a full-time basis. I would recommend you share the link. The guy's going to share a link in the chat. It's a competition that invites people to our masterclass. Some of my team even that are working with us, they binge watched the whole masterclass at the weekend and then said, you know what, I want to do this. Lindsay and Aoife, I think, are two, maybe others. People who actually just watched all of the masterclass in a tiny window of opportunity at the weekend and then went on and changed their life. Okay, so invite your friends to this. Now, don't click the invite button. Send them the link for the competition. That's the best way they can join. Don't click invite, 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 because they just won't be invited and it's just going to block up our system. So share the link. It's probably in the chat section here for our competition, and they can win multiple prizes. And congratulations again to Suzanne. And tomorrow evening, we'll be talking about who is going to Tato Park. And tomorrow evening is the genie in the lamp, okay? Shauna has mentioned how that idea, she took it into her subconscious mind. You get what you think about all day long, and we're going to teach you the real sciences behind goal creation, okay? Thoughts becoming things. You get what you think about all day long. I started to listen to this a few years ago, and I said, I hope to God this is true. And it is true, and it works. And it works all the time, and it is working all the time, and maybe against you at the moment, but we're going to teach you how to make it work for you all the time. Lots of love. Thanks for sticking with us through technical difficulties and all sorts, and I cannot wait for 7 o'clock tomorrow evening. Okay, bye everybody.